Aaron, man, I know at this point in your career, man, you're used to being in the spotlight, used to being under the microscope at all times. I know 2019 didn't go the way you wanted it to go. Give me an idea, man, just kind of what's the mindset right now, the feeling after, battling through that?
Yeah, it was, honestly, to be honest with you, it was actually a really tough time for me. It was really, really hard. But, there's not really much to say other than, the hardest part is, I was winning those fights, you know what I mean? So it's like, fuck, damn, I was just so close. But in the 7 months, my last fight, I was only at Jackson Wink for 6 weeks, so now I've had 7 months to prepare with the coaches there, and I feel like I've grown just as a person and as a fighter. I'm just amazed on what I know now. What I know now, and thinking back then is still green, and I still am green. But yeah, 2019 was a tough year, but hey, fuck, sometimes you fall on your face and it's like, I just got to get back up and just get myself in the gym. That's one thing I always say, no matter how shitty I feel, your mind starts racing and fuck, man, I should have done this. I just get back to the gym, work with the coaches, and go back home, and I feel good, It was tough, but I'm here now. I'm a happy person and ready to fight on Saturday.
Yeah. You talk about Jackson Wink, obviously a famous gym. I wonder, what is the biggest advantages so far? You're still, like I said, 7 months into it, but what are the things that you see right away, oh, man, here's where I'm definitely getting better?
It's just everywhere. Greg, on the ground and his, game planning with, I've been working with Roberto, or Tusa they call him. He works with John and a lot of the guys out the Gracie Bar out there. Six Gun with his combinations and being slick, and Coach Winklejohn and just, creating power and stuff. Everybody has their advantages and they work day in and day out. I've heard a lot of people say you get the attention there. I get a lot of attention there, with the coaches. The one thing about them is if you show up to practice and you want to become a better fighter, they'll put the time in. It's the people that I don't know. I don't know the past and stuff like that, but I just have heard stories, whatever. But if you show up and you want to fucking get better, they'll be there for you. So I have nothing but good things. I feel good, and in the gym and outside the gym, the people there have really embraced me and have been excited about sharing their culture with me. In Albuquerque, there's so much. It's so diverse there. It's been an experience for me, and I really love Albuquerque. I really do. Yeah.
Not as quite as much stuff to do as there is in SoCal, though, right?
The funny thing is for me is there's actually I have a lot more things to do because I have 2 horses now, and they're in my backyard now. I can ride out my front door. I have an arena in the backyard, a little arena. So yeah, I've just so many more. It's opened my eyes. It's different because it's than California, but I've got into trap shooting, with Coach Gibson, and we do that on Sundays, So the people there have really welcomed me, and my neighbors are awesome. Actually, my neighbors helped build an arena in my backyard, and the people of Albuquerque, like I said, it goes just beyond training there. I really, really love the people there. They've been so excited to show me their town, and I'm happy to be there. I have nothing but good things to say. Yeah.
That's awesome. When I think of you, I think it's such a positive person, obviously a committed person, hardworking person. But you said it was a tough year, right?
Was it really tough year?
Were there some dark spots for you?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it's for sure. Yeah, I'd be lying if I said, because I've always been I've always won, and I've never really had to dig myself out of you lose at the World Championships, again, it's different in wrestling, but when you're on national TV and you get embarrassed, it fucking gets tough sometimes. And then a lot of people don't realize is how much work you put in. Us fighters put in so much work, our time, our families, our girlfriends, our everything, and then it's just luckily for me, my fans have been very, very good to me, and treated me well, and such been positive. Hey, you'll be back. Of course, you get the dickheads that say stupid shit on the internet. That's just normal. But yeah, because it was really, really tough for me. But the only thing that really that gets you out is your family hears you out, lets you vent or do whatever, and then the gym. You can't just sit here and say, oh, poor me. That fucking doesn't get you anywhere. It really doesn't, It's no, I'm going to wake up the next day, my bag's packed, and I'm getting to the gym and getting better. It can either make or break you, but I tell you, I'll never fucking quit. I will never fucking quit. As long as I'm able to stand and my body's healthy. Now I just got to get smart, move my head, be smart about my fighting, not being there, I need to go do this. No, I'm going to take my time like I've worked with Greg and let my skills just let my skills flow. I don't need to rush anything. So, yeah.
So I was going to ask, the approach that you're going right now, is it reinvention or is it fine-tuning?
No, it's still like me. I still have my style, so I can still kind of I'm not going to be like, oh, I need to fight like John Jones. It's just different styles, And that's one thing that like Greg and all them, I still do some moves that they teach and stuff like that, but ultimately it's my style, It's like, one, not getting into a firefight, not taking blind shots, and just using my skills, moving when I have to move. I don't need to be like, oh, I need to rush in there, I need to knock the guy out. Just relax and do what I do. That's ultimately what it comes down to.
I see some people saying this is almost like a career crossroads for you, hey, are you going to prove that you are that guy or not? Do you think about it that way?
No, not really. I've never even thought about that, so a career crossroad is honestly when you're fucking 30 years old and it's you're if you make or break you for this fight, does it get me close to this title, and then I can get to the next right now it's just about having fun for me, that's the way I have to look at it. It's not make or break, or I'm on the verge of winning a title and then it's damn, it's my two losses that people don't realize is I fought obviously tough guys, but I was winning those fights, and what got me in trouble? It's a lack of inexperience, So now, then there's only one way to get that. Money can't buy that. It's just time in the cage and just do what I do.
Dig it.
Yeah.
What do you think about the matchup that you got in there? Are you a tape watcher? You study? Do you know much about him? What do you think about it?
I've studied so much tape on him. Honestly, I've studied so much tape with the coaches and with Greg, and a lot with Six Gun. I've listened to interviews that he's done. I've watched all his fights. I know it's. I'm ready to go. I have my protocols that the coaches have laid out for me, and I just have to do it. That's one thing about the coaches there. They don't hesitate to watch tape and break down at opponents. So I know this guy like the back of my hand, That's the most prepared I've ever been.
That's awesome. Yeah. I know you don't want to look past Saturday. You got to get the job done. But ideally, 2020, a rebound year for you. What are the goals, man? What would you like to accomplish this year?
I would just want to get time in the cage. That's honestly what I want to do. I don't need. I'm not in no position to be I want to fight this guy. What I honestly really want in 2020 year is to get comfortable in the cage, or just get one step closer to being comfortable. Just time in the cage, It's like I said, money can't buy it. Training can't do it. It's I want to get fights in. I just want to get comfortable under those bright lights, and I know if I do that, everything will fall into place. So that's my goal for 2020. Just time in the cage and being relaxed.